people, so I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as I possibly can today. Some really positive things to take out of the game last night that saw Toronto FC beat Real Salt Lake in Major League Soccer 1-0 on a late goal by João Plata. Hi everybody, Tim Drach here, View from the South Stands, coming to you Sunday after, of course, TFC's win last night against the Royals of Utah last night. I took a quick look this morning back at the recent TFC schedule, and since the 2-0 loss in Kansas City a few weeks ago, and I know this includes 2 games against Real Esteli, TFC is now undefeated in 5 matches, which is their longest undefeated stretch of the season in all competitions, which is definitely a real encouraging sign. In those 5 games, the Reds have scored 10 goals. They've scored 4 against the Nicaraguans. They've scored 6 against Salt Lake, against DC, and against Portland and MLS. So they've been averaging 2 goals a game since the influx of so many new players, specifically in the midfield and up front, that have led to that sort of offensive resurgence for the Reds. I think the players that have been brought in, I think the formation that the team actually runs, and the increasing by the day familiarity that the players appear to be getting with one another, is starting to have an effect offensively. Defensively, that's another question, because of course over those 5 games, the Reds have only kept a clean sheet once. They've conceded 2 goals against Real Esteli over 2 games. They conceded 3 goals against DC United. They conceded 2 goals against Portland. So what is that? 3, 5. That's 7. That's 7 goals in 5 games. That's a little bit of progress, I suppose, for TFC, but it's still not good enough if the team wants to compete in Major League Soccer. Last night's shutout, I should say, was all the more encouraging, considering how difficult things have been for the Reds defensively, and of course that's been well documented in this space and elsewhere. I don't need to get into it now. Everybody knows how bad things have been. Last night, I think it was down to, and I'm going to give full credit here to Coach Vinter. I've been very concerned, and I've written about it extensively in this space, and I've talked about it as well. I've been very concerned about what I've perceived to be, at least to a degree, an amount of tactical rigidity or stubbornness on his part. I wasn't really sure how wedded he was to that 4-4-3. If it was just a style of play, or maybe a religion or an ideology, so to speak, to him. Last night, what does he do? He plays something different. He plays a 3-4-3, and he puts Torsten Frings, arguably our most talented and smartest player, in as center back last night. And again, that may speak to the quality of the options that Coach Vinter has available to him on the bench. But that notwithstanding, he put 4 midfielders onto the pitch, and of course the 3 players up top, with the idea of trying to outnumber Real Salt Lake in the midfield, keep possession, keep them from getting many scoring opportunities, and giving the Reds an opportunity to win the game. And in retrospect, that's exactly what worked out. Plata, with a cheeky little goal in the, I think, 76th or 77th minute, managed to win the game. There were a number of defensive substitutions late on, including Donnell Henry, who I thought had a quite strong about 12 minutes on the pitch. I think he made 1 giveaway, but he made like 3 or 4 really nice tackles late on to keep Real Salt Lake off balance when they were really pushing hard to get the equalizer late. But at the end of the day, clean sheet. Milos Kosic was a big part of that, wasn't he? He looked very commanding in his box on set pieces and on corner kicks. He also made a game-saving save, a 2-point saving save, perhaps is a better way to say it, deep in injury time, in order to secure the 3-point win as well. He had an excellent game. Danley Borman, I think, was a little unlucky last night. I was yelling at him a little bit in the stands because I thought that he was too far up the pitch most of the night. Little did I know that the team was going to be running a 3-4-3. So, Mr. Borman, I do apologize if I got on your case a little bit. He actually had a bit of a rough night at the office as well. especially early on in the first half when he slipped on confetti. Yes, confetti, people, from those darn confetti cannons that saw him miss a beautiful chance to put TFC ahead in the 22nd minute of the game last night. I hope the club looks back and says maybe the confetti cannons are not exactly the best idea if they leave such a large amount of confetti and paper on a wet pitch. Remember that pitch? They've got those little sprinklers that come up through the bottom with the undersoil sprinkling system and the heating system they have. They water that pitch pretty heavily before the games. The confetti just stuck to it like glue. Down goes Borman, and there goes a good goal-scoring opportunity for TFC. Hopefully that'll change. One personal note that I want to share that I thought was really special last night was the fact that if any of you were at the game, you probably recognized an old familiar face in the second half on the capo stand in front of Section 113 where I ply my trade last night, and that's Zach. Zach is an old Day One U Sector member who's been living overseas for the last couple of years, and he's back in town, I think, for a wedding, if I'm not mistaken. He actually guest spotted on our capo stand last night, and again, it really felt like old times. I think the atmosphere in the stadium, in our end of the stadium last night, was absolutely fantastic, and his return was a big part of that. So I want to give a real personal shout out to Zach and say, my friend, it was really good to see you last night, and I hope that this is not your last appearance on that stand going forward. Now, getting back to what TFC is facing over the next couple of weeks. And I wrote about this on Friday, and it'll be just down there. You can just take a look at the last article I wrote. The Champions League is ahead of us. Very simply, the Reds are going to have as difficult a time qualifying this year as they did last year's in last year's unsuccessful group qualification campaign, but there is a path to success out there. I'm just going to very quickly flesh it out. It all comes down to the first two games. First off, I don't expect the Reds to get anything out of the Mexicans, Pumas. Last year, TFC got a win and a draw completely out of the blue against Cruz Azul, another fantastic club from the Mexican League. But I'm not expecting anything against the Clausura champions, Pumas, whether it be here or whether it be there. If we do, that's gravy on the fries, and that makes the opportunity of qualification that much easier, assuming that the scenario falls as I think it has to here. Thursday in Panama, TFC has to win the game. It's really that simple. I don't care by hook or by crook. They've got to win that match and get 3 points in the books. Then they go to Chicago on Saturday in an MLS game. Maybe they'll break their duck on the road. I don't know, but I'm not terribly concerned about that game. I'm more concerned about Dallas, a great MLS side. FC Dallas at home on Wednesday, I think it is, of next week. That's another must-win. If TFC get those 2 wins, they're at 6 points. If you look at the Champions League competition from last year and the year before, last year in particular saw, there's 4 groups of 16 teams in total. Top 2 teams qualify for an 8-team knockout. That leads to the final, and the team that wins that goes to the Club World Championship. That's essentially how the tournament works. To get to second place, which is TFC's only realistic option here, you're going to need 10 points to do it. That means 3 wins and a draw. That means you take care of business at home and away against Panama. You take care of your business home against Dallas, and I'm much more optimistic about TFC's hopes against Dallas at home after what I saw last night and what I talked about a few moments ago, the 1-0 game, of course, that we saw last night against Real Salt Lake. I'm much more optimistic about what the Reds can do now versus what they could have done a few weeks ago against a team like Dallas, where Dallas came in and beat the Reds. Of course, I think it was 1-0 on that Brek Shea wonder goal. So you win those 2 games, you got 6 points. Then you've got the Panamanian team coming back to BMO Field. You beat them again, that's 9. That leaves you with Dallas away, Pumas at home, and Pumas away. You got 3 chances there to nick a draw. If you nick a draw, you get 10 points. And as I said, if you look at the Champions League tournament last year, in those 4 groups that I talked about, the second place team that qualified for the knockout stages, 3 of those 4 teams were able to do it with 10 points. So 10 points get you in. And it's not outside the realm of possibility. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to happen. I think it can happen, but it has to start on Thursday with a win in Panama. And I'll have a lot more about the Champions League in this space over the coming days. I'll have another video blog up, by the way, on Friday after we see what happens in the Champions League against Tahoe of Panama. And then, of course, we've got the Chicago game away. I'll have a video blog up on Sunday after that one. And, of course, we've got the Dallas Champions League tie at home next week at BMO Field. And if you haven't secured your tickets, get out and secure them. We need to have as full a house as possible to cheer our boys on and give them a fighting chance of winning the way that we did with that great atmosphere last night. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful week. And watch this space for more news on the Champions League over the coming days. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.